Hello students, I'm Anu from Conation IELTS Academy, and today I'll be discussing an IELTS essay which is targeting the older population of the countries of the world. So let's read out the statement first and then we will dig into the essay. So in some countries, young people do not take care of their elderly relatives. Elderly means who are bigger in age, right? Who are having more age, like your grandfather, grandmother. Relatives, instead, they appoint trained professionals to take care of the elderly. So is it a positive or a negative trend according to you? So normally, आजकल क्या हो रहा है कि सारी कंट्रीज़ में, इवन इन एशियन कंट्रीज़ लाइक इंडिया, ये हो रहा है कि जो यंग पीपल है, लाइक मेनली द वंस like the children, they are not taking care of the elderly, they are not taking care of the older population, and instead what they prefer is कि they should just pay the money and appoint trained professionals, कि वो ऐसे trained nurses को, trained professionals को, trained doctors को full time hire कर लें, physiotherapist को, कि वो older population की care कर सकें, elderly persons in their family की care कर सकें. So खुद केयर ना करना एंड इंस्टेड ट्रेंड प्रोफेशनल्स को हायर करना टू टेक केयर ऑफ द एल्डरली, इज दैट अ गुड डेवलपमेंट, अ पॉजिटिव डेवलपमेंट और अ नेगेटिव डेवलपमेंट? सो ये हम डिस्कस करेंगे इस ऐसे में कि ये एक पॉजिटिव या फिर एक नेगेटिव डेवलपमेंट है. सो दिस इज एन एक्सट्रीमली इम्पॉर्टेंट essay. This considered to be a family essay. So these types of essays are really common, especially targeting the older population of the world. So you will be able to handle all of those. If you have just done 1 or 2 essays on this topic, you will handle the other ones. Okay, so let's dig into the essay now. So I'll give the background statement on the older population only. Okay, so first one is that the elderly populace is a synonym for population, is growing at a rapid rate. So mainly what we are saying is that the aged people, the proportion of aged people, the population of aged people is growing these days at a very high, at a increasingly high rate. Second option can be that in developed countries, developed means countries like America, Canada, which are the first world countries, by 2050 it is predicted that 20% of population will be elderly. So by the end of 2050, 20% population will be elderly. So elderly population is increasing at such a rate that by 2050 20% of the population would be elderly. Okay, so this is what we have written. So you can choose any one of these background lines, any one of these general statements, and just write it down, whichever feels out to be the most feasible option according to you. Okay, okay, let's do the paraphrasing. So paraphrasing का मतलब ये होता है कि जो statement given है हमें, this one, कि in some countries young people take care of the elderly relatives वाली, इस statement को अपने words में लिखना कि लाइक कंट्रीज़ के सिनोनिम्स क्या हो सकते हैं, नेशंस. सो उस चीज़ को दूसरे वर्ड से विच मीन द सेम रिप्लेस करना एंड अपने वर्ड्स में दोबारा सारी स्टेटमेंट को लिखना. सो एल्डरली सेगमेंट और सेक्शन ऑफ पॉपुलेस is not getting proper attention. So the elderly segment or the elderly section of the populace that we have used for the elderly relatives, instead of relatives we used कि section of populace या फिर segment of populace, उनको proper attention नहीं मिल रही किनसे, young adults से, right? So because reason, so we can just change it a bit so that we can bring out the differentiation, because of their hectic schedule or itineraries. Itineraries mean the same as schedule. It is a very good word. It will be frequently seen in your listening. So remember this word, that itineraries means schedule. Okay. Hence, in some part of the world, it is considered relevant that medical caregivers, trained professional means medical caregivers, take care of the aged population. So हमने इसमें ये लिखा कि यंग पीपल जो हैं वो अपनी हेक्टिक स्केड्यूल की वजह से प्रॉपर टाइम नहीं दे पा रहे टू द एल्डरली सेगमेंट, एंड कुछ पार्ट्स ऑफ द वर्ल्ड में इसको एक जेन्युइन चीज़ कंसिडर किया जाता है कि मेडिकल केयर गिवर्स कैन ऑब्वियसली टेक अ बेटर केयर ऑफ द एल्डरली पॉपुलेशन. दिस इज़ व्हाट वी हैव रिटन. ओके, नेक्स्ट थीसिस वुड बी दैट दिस ट्रेंड हैज़ बोथ pros के synonyms, merits, advantages, and cons, demerits and disadvantages. It has no perfect solution. So definitely there is no perfect solution. Medical caregivers can definitely take care of the patient in a better manner because they are more trained, right? They know that in which situation they have to do what. But वही केस अगर हम देखें कि like normal family members, so they haven't taken the medical like requisite, उन्होंने एक proper training नहीं ली होती, so उनको नहीं पता कि अगर एक person को heart attack हो रहा है so उसके symptoms को कैसे detect करना है या उस situation को कैसे control करना है, right? But यही अगर कोई trained professional होएगा, he or she will do it in a better manner. Okay, so this is what I am trying to say. So outline would be that I'll discuss both sides of this trend in a detailed manner in the forthcoming paragraph. So outline is just a general statement that to present the examiner that what you are going to actually do in the essay. Okay. So first body paragraph, I'll start with the advantages. Like if young people are hiring medical caregivers, then what are the advantages of this advancement? Okay, what can be the positives? First, professionals have requisite qualifications. Requisite means कि a particular thing which is a particular situation which is required for certain achievement. So if like you want to do the university chemistry or university mathematics, then you need to have the high school mathematics. Otherwise you can't just jump in from 6th class to university mathematics, right? The basic middle one is the requisite, right? Maths 30 is required. Okay? So that is what I am trying to say as a requisite. So requisite is something which is made necessary for achieving the next step, right? So like doctors in India, they need to have the MBBS to give the PG exam. Without that, they cannot give the PG exam. So that is a requisite. So professionals have requisite qualifications. So if they have become a proper trained professional which has been allotted by the government or a particular organization, then obviously they have passed the examinations, they have achieved that thing, and it is not that everything is given to them for free. So they have the requisite qualifications, they know the basics, they know the thicks and thins of the situation. Okay? So requisite होता है कोई चीज़ जो पहले से necessary की गई होगी कोई भी चीज़ achieve करने के लिए, ठीक है? So many caregivers are adroit, expert, virtuoso. This is all the synonyms for the word expert. So instead of expert, try to use different words like virtuoso, adroit, okay, in their field. Can deal with medical emergencies like strokes, heart attacks, etc. Never write the short form. In IELTS writing, it's a formal writing. So don't write the short forms of anything, right? Just write proper words, etc. as they always think proactively. So proactive thinking means कि आप situation को control कर रहे हो. Instead, if an incident happened, suppose कि an accident happened, and instead you are just reacting to the situation, you are first of all thinking कि मुझे इस situation में क्या करना चाहिए. Properly contemplate कर रहे हो, deeply think कर रहे हो कि what can be done to correct this situation, and then you are taking the action. And एक action होता है कि you are suddenly reacting, aggressive, So that is not the case with the medical caregivers. Family will definitely not be able to think proactively because they have an emotional attachment, they have a blood relation. So उस केस में उनके लिए चाह के भी ये possible नहीं होगा कि वो properly सोच समझ के decision ले. If there is a medical emergency, they will just rush to the hospital without trying to just solve out the situation for that 15-20 minutes till the time they reach the hospital. but a medical caregiver will just try to minimize the effects of the situation even in that journey area. Okay, so उनके पास एक requisite qualification है, basics पता है उनको, वो अपनी field में expert होते हैं, वो medical emergencies, heart attacks के केस में, strokes के केस में ज़्यादा बढ़िया deal कर सकते हैं. Okay, so that is the case. So strokes means कि basically brain stroke जिसको आप कहते हैं कि if a nerve, if a vein is having a blood clot, then that is a stroke. Okay, will be able to offer aesthetic environment. So that is the next point कि they will be able to offer aesthetic environment, beautiful environment. Okay, so they will have a proper bonding. So that is the. So next, the second point is that if the older population is sent to like that old age homes, NGOs or something like that, then they are able to meet like-minded people. So they can expand their social circle from entourage. Okay, so entourage means that a group of people, if there is a leader, then a group of people is attending that leader. Okay, so everybody in that group would be of the same thinking. उनकी सोच अलग नहीं होएगी. If a person is following a particular person, तो उन सबकी same thinking होएगी. उस केस में they can form groups. Okay, the easier word, the synonym for this one is groups. Okay, next, third, this system is already operating successfully in developed countries like UK, Canada and USA. So definitely this system is not much common in Asian countries like India, but definitely this has been a thing very commonly like possible in these countries like UK, Canada and USA. So example, the National Health Service in UK managed the older adults in the COVID-19 pandemic. So the National Health Service of UK managed the older adults in a very good manner in the COVID-19 pandemic. So they didn't let the older adults get affected. So as a result, trained professionals, National Health Service would definitely have trained professionals hired. So trained professionals were taking care of the older adults. Okay, because they were requiring extra care. वो ज़्यादा सेंसिटिव थे कोविड के लिए, ज़्यादा प्रोन थे, उनकी इम्यूनिटी कम थी, सो उनको एक्स्ट्रा केयर रिक्वायर्ड थी एक ट्रेंड प्रोफेशनल से. ओके, सो दिस इज़ द एंड ऑफ द बॉडी पैराग्राफ 1. ओके, सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी सेड कि हाउ इट कैन बी बेनिफिशियल फॉर द लाइक पेशेंट्स, है ना, फॉर द ओल्डर एडल्ट्स. देन कि हाउ दे कैन इमोशनली बी मोर स्ट्रॉन्ग because they can meet like-minded people. They can pursue their hobbies as well. Okay. Okay, let's move to the body paragraph 2. That what are the cons? What are the disadvantages of people hiring trained professionals? Instead, they are taking care of their older adults, family older adults by themselves. So first is कि in Asian culture, it will be seen as a stigma, as a negative development. Okay, so seen as running away from ethical and moral duties. So it will be seen that as the younger adults are running away from their duties. So ऐसी feeling आएगी Asian culture में. So just imagine all the Indians out there or even all the Asian countries. So it's impossible कि है ना कि if somebody is not taking care of their parents or grandmother, grandfather, then it is a normal situation. It is considered as a completely different, unacceptable situation. So that is stigma. Okay, so seen as running away from the moral values. So it is considered in our moral values that we should take care of our grandfather, grandmother. Okay, so that shouldn't be ignored. If the older adults, if our parents, grandparents have paid so much, taken care of so much of ours throughout the life, then it is the children's time to reward them back. So उस चीज़ को एक बहुत बुरी development समझा जाएगा, moral values से दूर जाना, that isn't good. So initiate a cycle of disrespect. So moral values lose हो रही हैं, people are not taking care of their parents, as a result disrespect बढ़ती जाएगी, है ना. If the old people are not there in the family, then old people are considered as walking libraries, है ना. They are full of wisdom. So if they will be not there, then the habits, the moral ethics wouldn't be there in the newly born children. So एक disrespect का cycle initiate हो जाएगा कि if the parents are just letting their parents go out of the home, they are just throwing them out, then ultimately that will return back to them by their children in future, okay, maybe after 20-30 years. So break down the institution of the family and destroy the social fabric. As a result क्या होएगा कि एक family ही break down हो जाएगी. If grandparents, parents are not there, then एक family, एक close knit family, एक unity नहीं होएगी. So एक family को morally, ethically बहुत बुरी तरह ये चीज़ affect करेगी. Okay, so that is what I am trying to say in the first point. Next, obviously, if somebody is medically trained, then they must be charging something. They are not doing charity. They are getting paid for whatever work they do. So obviously, if some young people want to hire somebody for this purpose, then they have to pay them. Okay, so that will lead to huge financial strain or burden on the family, as medical workers have to be hired and you need to pay an exorbitant salary or remuneration to them. Remuneration is the synonym for salary. Third, old people are like children. They are sensitive, they have specific needs. Okay, so emotional quotient is completely disturbed. So कहते हैं ना कि बूढ़े भी बच्चे बन जाते हैं. So they are definitely like children. वो sensitive हो जाते हैं situations को और sensitively handle करते हैं, right? They become aggressive as well. जैसे बिल्कुल जैसे बच्चे होते हैं. So उनकी भी कुछ specific needs हैं, है ना? Physically, emotionally, everywhere. So उनका emotional quotient, emotional thinking जो है वो disturb हो जाएगी. Okay? So एक होता है intelligence quotient कि how intelligent the person is to handle a particular problem, and एक होता है emotional कि how emotionally strong the person is. So the solution to all the problems is only family. So if a old person is in the toughest situation, is a confused state, is in a dilemma, is at the lowest stage of the whole life, old age is not something everybody looks up to. Old age एक ऐसी चीज़ है जो हर कोई avoid करना चाहता है. कोई नहीं चाहता कि मैं old बनूँ, है ना. So it is like the lowest point of everyone's life. So उस case में जितनी भी problems होती हैं, that can be only covered up, and the only solution is family. So if a family is closely united, then कोई भी कुछ भी नहीं कर सकता. Okay. So this is the third point. Otherwise, they will feel solitary, they will feel alone, and they can attempt suicides as well. So if in developed countries this is common, like old age homes, then this is common as well. So this needs to be checked out. Okay. So definitely moral and ethical values are very important. Everything needs to be returned up. And keeping aside the moral and ethical values, otherwise also, even in case of finances, everything out there, even our grandparents are giving something financial help to the children, right? So they have worked whole their life. So isn't it the duty of the children and the grandchildren to just take care of them? At least this is what they deserve. Okay, so everybody should definitely help out the older adults. So conclusion would be that taking care of the older people, older adults should be the utmost priority of the family. So if somebody is sick in your family, then obviously instead of focusing on extra things, you should just focus on the old person, the ill person, and keep all the extra things aside. But in difficult circumstances, can be sent to old age homes for care. But still, if the situation isn't controllable, like the older adult is in coma for like 20 years, 10 years, us case de vich, then definitely nobody can stop their life, hai na? Ultimately life goes on. So उस difficult circumstances which then there is a chance कि they can just send to old age homes for care, है ना. And in case of a special care is required, in case somebody has suffered heart attack, strokes, in that case also it is required that instead of family they require the medical caregivers. Okay, so that is the main essay. So basically we definitely, you can just go according to your opinion whether you think it's negative or positive, but obviously both have the pros and cons. No? It's not that there is a perfect solution. That is what I wrote in the thesis. So it should be decided on the basis of circumstances. If the circumstances are not allowing, then it should be raised. But it should be not by choice कि younger people just don't want to affect their travel diaries or they just want to enjoy their life. That's why they are not ready to give 2 years or 1 year of care to the old adults. It shouldn't be the case. Okay. So I hope you understood the whole essay. If you still have any issues, then you can ask me. I'll answer it to you personally. So please like, share and comment in the video below. And do subscribe to the channel as well, because that will definitely lead out to the motivation. Okay, so if you are continuing till here, then you must have found the essay interesting and you know, you'll come back again. So whichever video recommendations you want, if any reading you want us to solve or anything, any particular essay, task 1, you can definitely advise us in the comment section below and we will post a video on the same. Okay. Don't forget to press the bell icon as well, because that's the only way that you will get updated that whichever videos we are posting. Okay. I have an institute in Amritsar, so if you want to join offline classes, in-person classes, then you can just contact me and I'll reach out.